Before we dive in, please remember that this presentation is for informational and educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor or a certified career coach. The decision to pursue an MBA is a major financial and personal commitment, and you should always conduct your own thorough research and consult with qualified professionals before making any decisions. A friend of mine spent $200,000 in 2 years of his life getting an MBA from a top-tier school. He graduated, landed a prestigious consulting job, and 6 months later, he quit. He was miserable. He realized the life he had spent $250,000 to build was a life he didn't actually want. He fell into the single biggest trap of the MBA application process, a trap that has nothing to do with your GMAT score, your essays, or your recommendation letters. And today, I'm going to make sure you don't make the same mistake. Because let's be honest, the world of MBA applications is a billion-dollar industry designed to make you feel insecure. It's a maze of rankings, consultants, and endless advice that all seems to boil down to one thing: get into the best school you possibly can. But what if that's terrible advice? What if the key to a successful MBA experience, one that actually transforms your career and doesn't just saddle you with 6 figures of debt, has almost nothing to do with the US News and World Report rankings? In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain. We're not talking about essay tips or interview hacks. We're talking about the 5 foundational strategic decisions you must make before you even think about writing a single application word. Get these right, and the whole process becomes clearer, easier, and infinitely more successful. Get them wrong, and you could end up like my friend, successful on paper but completely lost in reality. So let's get right into it. The first and most important thing you need to know before applying to a US MBA program is this: your why is infinitely more important than your where. I want you to burn that into your brain. Your reason for getting the degree is more important than the name on the degree. This sounds simple, but it is the single most violated principle in MBA admissions. We are conditioned to chase prestige. We see the rankings for Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, and we think that's the goal. That's the golden ticket. We spend all our energy optimizing our profile to fit what we think those schools want, without ever stopping to do the brutally honest self-assessment of what we actually need. The admissions process becomes an ego-driven game of getting into the most exclusive club possible, rather than a strategic investment in our own future. The ranking trap is seductive because it offers a simple answer to a complex question. Where should I go to school? The highest ranked one I can get into. Easy. But it's a lazy shortcut that outsources your critical thinking to a magazine. A school's rank is an aggregate of dozens of factors, like faculty publications, starting salaries, and peer assessments. How many of those factors are directly relevant to your specific, unique career goal? Maybe very few. A school could be number 1 overall but number 25 in the specific industry you want to enter. A school could have a world-famous finance faculty, which is fantastic. Unless you want to go into tech marketing, chasing that brand name might actually put you at a disadvantage. It's like buying the most expensive, powerful race car in the world when what you really need is a rugged truck to navigate a mountain. The car is objectively better by some metrics, but it's completely useless for your actual mission. So, how do you define your why? I want to make more money is not a why. It's a desired outcome. I want to be a leader is not a why. It's an ambition. A powerful strategic why is concrete, specific, and actionable. It identifies a clear gap between where you are now and where you want to be, and it identifies the MBA as the most efficient bridge to cross that gap. A great why sounds like this: I am a software engineer with 5 years of experience building products. I want to pivot into a product manager role at a major tech firm like Google or Microsoft. To do that, I need to build a strong foundation in marketing, user-centric design, and financial modeling, and I need access to the recruiting pipeline that places graduates directly into those roles. See the difference? That's not a dream, it's a plan. The MBA is a tool, a very expensive tool, to execute that plan. If you're struggling to articulate this, I want you to do an exercise. Seriously. After I explain it, pause this video and actually do it. Go to LinkedIn or your favorite job board and find 3 to 5 job descriptions for the exact job you want to have the day you graduate from your MBA program. Not a kind of job, the exact one. Print them out. Now take a red pen and circle every single skill, qualification, or experience listed that you do not currently possess. Be brutally honest with yourself. That piece of paper covered in red circles is your why. Those are your gaps. The entire purpose of your MBA is to systematically erase those red circles and turn them into proven skills on your resume. Your why is the mission to close those gaps. Once you have that crystal clear mission, choosing where to apply transforms from a guessing game into a strategic analysis. Suddenly, you're not just looking at the overall ranking. You're asking much smarter questions. Which schools have the best in-class curriculum for tech product management? You'd start looking at schools like Carnegie Mellon's Tepper with its analytical focus, or the University of Washington's Foster sitting in Amazon's backyard, or Stanford and Berkeley, the epicenters of Silicon Valley. You'd start ignoring schools famous for investment banking, even if they're ranked higher overall. You'd ask, which schools do my target companies, Google, Microsoft, Apple, actively recruit from? You can find this data in employment reports on every school's website. Don't just look at the list of companies, look at the number of graduates they hired. If a school sent 40 people to your dream company and another school sent 2, that tells you something powerful about the strength of that recruiting relationship. You'd ask, which school's alumni network is strongest in the Pacific Northwest, where I want to live and work? A school like UCLA Anderson might have a more powerful network in Southern California than a Chicago Booth. Despite Booth's higher overall rank, your why becomes a filter. It allows you to cut through the marketing fluff and evaluate schools based on a single ruthless criterion. Which institution provides the highest probability of achieving my specific stated goal? That is a game changer. Let me tell you about a client I worked with. She was a brilliant engineer at an aerospace company, but she wanted to transition into venture capital, specifically focusing on early-stage deep tech and robotics. Everyone told her, you need to go to Harvard or Stanford. That's where the VC game is played. And she had the stats to be a contender. But we did the why exercise. We looked at the VCs she admired, the ones investing in the specific technology she was passionate about. And we found a pattern. A surprising number of them had a connection to MIT. They either went to Sloan for their MBA, or they were engineering undergrads who were now deeply embedded in the Boston/Cambridge tech ecosystem. We realized that for her hyper-specific goal, the deep technical expertise and the network radiating from MIT was a more powerful asset than the general prestige of another top school. She focused all her energy on her MIT application, got in, and is now thriving at a Boston-based VC firm doing exactly what she dreamed of. She didn't chase the ranking, she chased the outcome. And that is the first, most critical lesson you need to learn before you spend a single dollar on an application fee. So let's talk about the second thing you absolutely must understand, and it's a monster. It's the single biggest source of anxiety, of self-doubt, of people quitting before they even start. I'm talking about the GMAT, or the GRE, the standardized test. Let me tell you about a guy I coached a few years ago. We'll call him Alex. Alex was a classic MBA profile. He was a mechanical engineer at a big aerospace company, incredibly smart, managed a team, had patents to his name. On paper, he was a rock star. But he had a secret. He was on his 4th attempt at the GMAT, and he couldn't break 650. He was scoring in the low 600s over and over again, and it was destroying him. He told me, I don't get it. I can design a turbine blade that can withstand Mach 3, but I can't solve these middle school math problems. Maybe I'm just not smart enough for business school. That phrase, not smart enough, that is the lie the GMAT tells you. It's the most dangerous myth in the entire MBA application process. So here is the second thing you need to know, and I want you to burn this into your brain. The GMAT is not an IQ test. It is a game. A bizarre, counterintuitive, and frankly poorly designed game. But a game nonetheless. And once you realize you're not studying for a test of your intelligence, but rather learning the rules to a game, everything changes. Alex was approaching it like an engineering problem. He believed that if he just studied more formulas, did more practice problems, and crammed more knowledge into his head, his score would go up. He was treating it like a final exam. But the GMAT isn't about knowledge. You learned all the math you need for the GMAT by the 9th grade. It's not a test of what you know. It's a test of how you think under pressure, with incomplete information, and within a ridiculously constrained time limit. It's a test of your executive function. The breakthrough for Alex came when we stopped doing practice problems and started analyzing the design of the questions themselves. We looked at a sentence correction question and I asked him, what is this question really testing? He said, grammar, I guess. I said, no. It's testing your ability to spot patterns and eliminate wrong answers quickly. Look at the 5 answer choices. 2 of them use the wrong verb tense. Eliminate them. Don't even read them again. Now you have a 33% chance. Of the remaining 3, 1 uses a misplaced modifier. You see that? Boom, it's gone. Now it's a coin flip. You've spent 45 seconds and turned an impossible question into a 50-50 guess. His mind was blown. He had been trying to find the perfect answer. He was trying to be an academic. But the GMAT doesn't reward academics. It rewards strategists. It rewards people who understand the 80-20 rule. The people who can recognize that some questions are time sinks, designed to drain your clock and your mental energy, and who have the discipline to make an educated guess and move on. Think about it. In a business setting, does your boss ever hand you a project and say, "Here is all the information you will ever need, and you have unlimited time to find the one perfect solution"? Never. They say, "Here's some messy, incomplete data. I need your best recommendation by Friday at 5 p.m. That is the GMAT. It's a simulation of business decision-making, disguised as a math and grammar test. Let's get tactical. The biggest mistake people make is trying to get every question right. This is in a student's instinct, and it is fatal on the GMAT. The test is adaptive. If you get a question right, the next one gets harder. If you get it wrong, the next one gets easier. The goal is not to be a hero and slay the dragon on every single hard question. The goal is to consistently answer the questions you should get right, and to strategically guess on the ones that are designed to be time traps. Spending 5 minutes on a single brutal question to get it right doesn't make you a genius. It makes you a bad test taker. Because while you were wrestling with that one problem, you sacrificed the time you needed to answer 3 easier questions correctly later on. Your overall score plummets. The winning strategy is to learn to identify your weaknesses and the test traps. You see a complex combinatorics problem and you know that's a weak spot? You don't spend 4 minutes trying to remember a formula from high school. You eliminate the obviously wrong answers, make your best guess in 30 seconds, and move on, saving that mental energy and time for a question that's in your wheelhouse. That is not a sign of intellectual weakness. It is a sign of superior strategic resource allocation. It's a CEO-level decision. The ultimate proof that the GMAT is a game is the data sufficiency section. This is the weirdest, most beautiful part of the test. They give you a question and 2 statements of fact, and they ask you, is statement 1 enough to answer the question? Is statement 2 enough? Do you need both? Or are they both useless? Notice what they don't ask you. They don't ask you for the answer. They just want to know if you could answer it. I've seen brilliant quants, people who can do calculus in their sleep, get destroyed by data sufficiency. Why? Because their instinct is to solve the problem. They see a question like, what is the value of X? And they immediately start manipulating equations to find X. They waste 2 minutes calculating that X equals 7. But the question wasn't, what is X? It was, is there enough information to find X? The moment you realize you can solve it, you're done. You pick your answer and move on. The person who actually solves for X equals 7 gets the exact same number of points as the person who just recognized that one equation with one variable is solvable, but they spent an extra 90 seconds doing it. Over the course of a section, those 90-second losses add up to a catastrophic failure. Data sufficiency is the purest form of business thinking. Can we make a decision with this data? Do we need to acquire more data? Is the data we have irrelevant? It's a test of logic and efficiency, not calculation. So when you start studying for the GMAT or GRE, your entire mindset needs to shift. You are not going back to school. You are training for a sport. You're learning the plays. You're studying game tape, not just to solve the problem, but to understand how the problem is constructed. You're learning to recognize the defense the test maker is throwing at you. Is this a numbers too big to calculate trap, where the trick is to simplify? Is this a misleading modifier trap in a sentence correction question? Is this a you don't actually need to solve it trap in data sufficiency? Alex, the engineer, changed his whole approach. He stopped doing random problem sets and started categorizing questions by trap type. He created a mistake log, where every time he got a question wrong, he wasn't allowed to just check the right answer. He had to write one full sentence explaining the principle he misunderstood or the trap he fell for. His GMAT score shot up 90 points in 6 weeks. He broke 730. He wasn't any smarter. He hadn't learned any new math. He just learned how to play the game. He got into a top-tier MBA program and is now a senior product manager at a major tech company, where his job every single day is to make decisions with incomplete data under tight deadlines. The GMAT, it turns out, was the first real test of his MBA skill set. So, before you even book your test date, let alone apply, you must internalize this. Stop letting this test be a measure of your self-worth. It is not. It is a beatable, learnable game. Treat it like one. Study its rules, its tricks, and its patterns. Learn to be a strategist, not just a student. Master the game, get your score, and then move on to the part of the application that actually is about you. Because once you've slain this dragon, you have to face an entirely different kind of challenge, telling your own story. And that's where most people really truly get it wrong. Think of your MBA application not as a job application, but as a pitch for a startup. And that startup is you. The venture capitalists, in this case the admissions committee or AdCom, aren't just investing in a set of skills on a resume. They're investing in a person with a vision. They're betting on your potential to go out into the world and do something remarkable that will, in turn, reflect well on their brand, their school. And what's the first thing you need for a great pitch? A great story. The single biggest mistake applicants make is treating the essay section like a cover letter. They write things like, "With my 5 years of experience in finance and my proven track record of success, I am confident that I possess the quantitative skills necessary to excel in your rigorous academic environment." Reading that is like eating dry toast. It's technically sustenance, but nobody enjoys it. The AdCom has already seen your resume. They've seen your GMAT score. They know you have quantitative skills. The essay is not the place to repeat your resume in paragraph form. The essay is where you make them care. The foundation of a great application is what I call the golden thread. It's a clear, compelling narrative that connects your past, your present, and your future. It answers the 3 unspoken questions that every admissions officer is asking. Why this? Why now? And why us? Let's break that down. First, your past. This isn't just a list of your job titles. It's the why behind your choices. You didn't just take a job as a logistics manager. You took it because you were fascinated by the complex puzzle of global supply chains. And while you were there, you didn't just improve efficiency by 15%. You saw firsthand how a broken supply chain meant that critical medical supplies weren't getting to the people who needed them, and it ignited a passion in you to solve these life-or-death logistical problems. See the difference? One is a fact. The other is a story. One is a task. The other is a purpose. You need to dig deep into your experiences and find the moments that shaped you, the problems that frustrated you, and the successes that gave you a glimpse of the impact you could have. This leads directly to the second part of the golden thread, the present, which answers why an MBA and why now. This is your moment of realization. Based on those past experiences, you've identified a clear gap between the person you are today and the person you need to be to achieve your future goals. This is not the time to be vague. A weak application says, "I want an MBA to gain leadership skills." A strong application says, "While leading my team on the medical supply project, I realized I could motivate my direct reports, but I struggled to influence senior stakeholders in other departments. I lack the formal training in organizational behavior and high-level strategy to enact the systemic changes I know are necessary. I need to learn how to lead not just a team, but an entire organization." That gap you identify is the entire justification for a 2-year, $250,000 investment in your education. It has to be specific and it has to be real. And this is also where you answer the why us question. This requires serious, deep research. If you write that you want to go to Kellogg because of its strong marketing program, you've already lost. Every top school has a strong marketing program. You need to go deeper. You need to name the specific classes, the professors whose research you followed, the experiential learning labs, the student clubs, and the specific alumni you've spoken to. You should be able to say, "I need to take Professor Calkins's Strategic Brand Management course because his framework for building brand equity is exactly what I need to apply to my goal of rebranding a legacy healthcare logistics company. Furthermore, I want to take a leadership role in the healthcare club to organize a conference connecting students with innovators in medtech." This shows you haven't just copy-pasted your essay. It shows you've done the work, you understand their unique culture and resources, and you have a concrete plan to utilize them. Finally, the golden thread leads to your future, your long-term goal. And it needs to be the logical, inspiring conclusion to your story. It should be ambitious but credible. "I want to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company" is too generic. "I want to be a venture capitalist" is what everyone says. A powerful goal is specific and connects back to your past. For our logistics manager, it might be, "My goal is to become a general manager at a major medical device company, like Medtronic or Stryker, where I can lead their supply chain transformation. Ultimately, I want to pioneer a new model for last-mile medical delivery in developing nations, ensuring that life-saving equipment isn't just shipped, but actually reaches the clinics and patients who need it most. That goal is inspiring. It's specific, and it feels like the natural next step for someone with their past experiences and the specific MBA training they're seeking. Now, weaving this thread requires a masterclass in one of the oldest rules of writing: show, don't tell. Telling the AdCom, "I am a resilient and creative leader," is useless. Anyone can say that. You have to show them. You have to tell them a story that demonstrates your resilience and creativity without ever using those words. Think about the classic essay prompt. Describe a time you faced a significant challenge at work. The weak applicant tells you, "I faced a challenge when a key vendor went bankrupt, threatening our product launch. I worked hard, found a new vendor, and we successfully launched." Okay, the strong applicant shows you. The email landed at 8 p.m. on a Friday. Our primary supplier for the launch, a company we'd worked with for years, was gone. Panic set in. My team was looking at me. Instead of just searching for another supplier in our approved database, I remembered a tiny, innovative startup I'd met at a conference 6 months prior. They were unproven, a huge risk. I spent that entire weekend on the phone with their founder, not just negotiating a contract, but walking her through our quality control process, connecting her with our engineers, and essentially making her an extension of our team. It was a gamble, but we launched on time, and that small startup is now one of our most innovative partners. Which person do you want in your class? The one who worked hard, or the one who demonstrated foresight, risk-taking, and the ability to build relationships under pressure? Finally, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. The most compelling stories have moments of doubt, failure, and learning. The AdCom doesn't want perfect, polished robots. They want real, self-aware human beings who have been tested and have grown from the experience. One of the most common essay questions is about your greatest failure. The worst possible answer is a disguised strength like, "My biggest failure is that I'm a perfectionist and I just care too much." It's a total cop-out. A great answer is about a time you genuinely messed up. You misread a situation. You let your team down. You made a bad call. But the story doesn't end there. It's about what you did next. How you owned the mistake, what you did to fix it, and most importantly, what you learned about yourself that has fundamentally changed how you operate today. Showing that you can fail, learn, and become stronger is one of the most powerful indicators of future success you can possibly demonstrate. It shows humility, resilience, and a capacity for growth, the very essence of what they're looking for. Crafting this narrative is the heart of your application. It's the soul of the machine. It's what takes you from a collection of stats on a page and turns you into a living, breathing person they feel they know, they believe in, and they want to have on their campus. Once you've crafted this perfect narrative, you need the evidence to back it up. Your essays are the claim, but your resume and your recommenders, they are the proof. And getting that proof right is an art form in itself. Let's start with your resume. Most people treat their MBA resume like a laundry list of job duties: managed social media accounts, coordinated team meetings, responsible for client outreach. This is the single biggest mistake you can make. An admissions officer or AdCom who reads thousands of these will see that and their eyes will just glaze over. It tells them what you were supposed to do. It doesn't tell them what you actually did. It's a scrapbook of your career, not a compelling case for your future. You need to shift your mindset entirely. Your resume is not a list of responsibilities. It is an evidence locker. Every single bullet point is Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, proving a specific skill or quality you've claimed in your essays. Each line item must be a quantifiable accomplishment that screams leadership, impact, or analytical prowess. So, how do you turn your resume from a boring list into a lethal piece of evidence? You use the language of impact. You don't just say you managed a project. You say you led a 5-person team to launch a new software feature 2 weeks ahead of schedule, resulting in a 10% increase in user engagement and an estimated $250,000 in new annual revenue. See the difference? The first one is a task. The second one is a story of leadership, efficiency, and direct business impact. It has a beginning, led a team, a middle, launched ahead of schedule, and an end, quantifiable results. You must go through every single line of your current resume and ask yourself 2 questions. First, so what? And second, how can I prove it? If your bullet point says, analyze sales data, ask so what? The answer might be, to identify market trends. Okay, ask so what? Again, which led to a new sales strategy. Keep going. So what? That focused on an underserved demographic. And one more time, so what? Which increased market share in that segment by 15% in 6 months. Now that is your bullet point. Identified an underserved market segment through data analysis, spearheading a new sales strategy that captured a 15% market share increase within 6 months. You are translating your actions into the language of business, the language of results. If you don't have hard numbers like revenue or percentages, use other quantifiers. How many people were on your team? How many clients did you manage? How large was the budget you oversaw? Did you reduce processing time? Did you improve a system's efficiency? Find a number. Numbers are concrete. They are undeniable evidence. And remember, this evidence needs to be tailored to the specific court you're in. A resume for a finance-heavy school like Wharton or Chicago Booth should probably have the bullet points with the biggest dollar signs right at the top. For a marketing school like Kellogg, you might lead with the evidence of your customer-centric achievements and brand growth. For a school known for its tight-knit community like Tuck or Darden, your bullet points demonstrating teamwork and cross-functional collaboration become even more critical. You're not changing the facts. You're just choosing which evidence to present most prominently to win over that specific jury. Now let's talk about your recommenders. If your resume is the physical evidence, your letters of recommendation are the sworn testimonies of your expert witnesses. And this is where the second huge mistake happens. Applicants think the goal is to get the person with the most impressive title to write their letter. They'll chase down the CEO of their company, someone they've met maybe twice in the elevator, to write a recommendation. This is a catastrophic error. A letter from a CEO who doesn't know you is the equivalent of calling a celebrity witness who can only say, "Yeah, I think I saw the defendant once at a party. They seemed nice." It's useless. It has zero credibility. The AdCom will see right through it. In fact, it shows poor judgment, which is the exact opposite of what you want to demonstrate. What you need are witnesses who have seen you in action up close. You need supervisors, both past and present, or even a senior client, who can provide specific, detailed anecdotes that bring your claims to life. They are the ones who can say, "I didn't just see them lead a team. I saw them rally that team when morale was at rock bottom after a major setback. I watched them stay late, personally mentor a struggling junior member, and find a creative solution that got the project back on track. Their leadership directly saved us from losing our biggest client." That is a star witness. That testimony is irrefutable. It provides color, context, and emotional weight to the black and white claims on your resume. But here's the secret. Star witnesses need to be prepped. You cannot just send an email to your boss saying, "Hey, would you mind writing me a letter of recommendation for business school?" and hope for the best. You are the lead attorney in this case. It is your job to prepare your witnesses. You need to create what's called a recommender packet. This is a document you send to your chosen recommenders that makes their job as easy as possible and ensures their testimony aligns perfectly with your case. This packet should include, first, your final polished essays. They need to see the story you're telling so they can support it, not contradict it. Second, your tailored MBA resume. This reminds them of the specific, quantifiable achievements you want to highlight. Third, a list of the key themes or personal qualities you are trying to showcase for each specific school. For example, for Stanford, I'm really trying to emphasize my entrepreneurial spirit and my ability to innovate under pressure. For Harvard, the focus is more on my track record of leadership in large organizations. And fourth, and this is the most important part, a bulleted list of specific memories and projects you worked on together. You are not writing the letter for them. You are refreshing their memory and pointing them to the strongest pieces of evidence. You might write, "I'd be so grateful if you could talk about the Project Phoenix turnaround. Specifically, how I took initiative to rebuild the client relationship after the data breach, and the spreadsheet model I created that we ended up adopting across the entire department." You are giving them the ammunition. You are handing them the case file and saying, "Here are the key events. Please tell the court what you saw in your own words." This level of preparation transforms a potentially generic letter into a powerful, specific, and compelling piece of advocacy. It ensures your recommender isn't just saying you're great. They're providing the detailed stories that prove you're great. Think about it. A good letter of recommendation should reveal something new about you that the AdCom couldn't get from just your resume or essays. It should provide an outside perspective on your character, your work ethic, your potential. When your recommender tells a story about how you handled failure, or how you mediated a conflict between two powerful senior colleagues, It paints a three-dimensional picture. Your application is no longer just a flat file of documents. It becomes a living, breathing case. Your essays are the opening statement laying out the argument for who you are and what you want to achieve. Your resume is the meticulously organized binder of evidence, full of cold, hard facts and numbers that support every claim. And your letters of recommendation are the closing arguments from trusted experts who have seen your potential firsthand. When all three of these components are perfectly aligned, telling the same story from different angles, your case becomes undeniable. You leave the admissions committee with no reasonable doubt. They don't just think you'd be a good fit for their program. They know it. They have the proof. And that is how you move from the maybe pile to the admit pile. This isn't about bragging. It's about building a logical, evidence-based argument for your own potential. So now the admissions committee has a file in front of them that isn't just a collection of stats and claims. It's a watertight case for your future success. But this brings us to a critical, and I mean absolutely critical, turning point in your application journey. It's the one that separates the people who just want an MBA from the people who know exactly why they need a specific MBA. This is thing number 3. You are not just a supplicant begging for entry. You are an investigator, a journalist, a detective. The school is interviewing you, yes, but you are most definitely interviewing the school. This might sound obvious, but you would be shocked at how many brilliant, high-achieving people get this completely backward. They spend hundreds of hours crafting the perfect application to prove they are worthy of a school, without spending even a fraction of that time determining if the school is worthy of them. They fall into the most dangerous trap in the entire MBA application process. The rankings trap. We've all seen them. The lists. US News, Bloomberg, the Financial Times. They rank schools from 1 to 100, and the default strategy for so many applicants is to just start at the top and work their way down. Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Booth, Kellogg, apply. This is, without a doubt, the single worst strategy you can employ. It's like trying to find a life partner by only swiping right on people who are over 6 feet tall. You're ignoring personality, values, humor, life goals. Everything that actually creates a successful relationship. Applying to business schools based purely on rank is the strategic equivalent of picking a spouse from a catalog. It's lazy, it's impersonal, and it almost guarantees a bad fit. Why? Because your application will reek of generic desperation. The admissions committee at Kellogg knows they are not the same as the committee at Booth, even though they're both in Chicago and both are legendary schools. They have different cultures, different teaching philosophies, different strengths. If you send them a generic, "Why I want an MBA" essay that could be copy-pasted for any top 10 school, they will see it from a mile away. They're not looking for someone who wants an MBA, they're looking for someone who wants a Kellogg MBA specifically. And if you can't articulate why, you're out. But even more importantly, if you get in, you might be miserable. You're about to invest 2 years of your life and hundreds of thousands of dollars into an immersive, all-consuming experience. If you land in a culture that doesn't match your personality or a program that doesn't align with your learning style, it will be a colossal waste of time and money. A hyper-competitive, sharp-elbowed finance culture might be a nightmare for a collaborative, team-oriented marketing professional. A program that relies exclusively on the Socratic case method might be torture for someone who learns best through hands-on project-based work. You don't just want to survive your MBA. You want to thrive. And that requires finding the right environment. So how do you do that? How do you move beyond the rankings and conduct a real investigation? It starts with treating the school's website and marketing materials not as a source of truth, but as a starting point for your own detective work. You need to go 3 layers deep. First, the academics. Don't just look at the list of concentrations. Every school has a marketing concentration. Every school has a finance track. That tells you nothing. You need to dig into the actual course catalogs. Who are the professors teaching the classes you're interested in? Google them. Are they tenured academics who have been researching theory for 30 years? Or are they adjunct professors who are currently partners at major venture capital firms or VPs at Fortune 500 companies? Neither is inherently better, but they offer vastly different classroom experiences. One gives you deep theoretical grounding, the other gives you real-time in-the-trenches knowledge. Which one do you need more? Look at the school's signature pedagogy. Is it a case method school like Harvard or Darden? That means 80 to 100% of your classes will be student-led discussions of real-world business problems. You'll be expected to talk, to debate, to defend your position constantly. It's an active, high-energy environment. Or is it a school that emphasizes experiential learning, like Michigan's Ross with its MAP program? where you spend months working on a real consulting project for a real company. That's a fundamentally different way of learning. You need to be brutally honest with yourself. In which of these environments will I actually learn and perform my best? Don't just pick the one that sounds impressive. Pick the one that's right for you. Second, you need to dissect the student life. This is the soul of the MBA experience. The clubs are not just for fun. They are your career launchpad. Don't just see that a school has a venture capital club. That's surface level. Dig deeper. Does that club actually run a student-managed investment fund with real money? Can first-year students get positions on the due diligence teams? Or is it just a club that brings in a few guest speakers every semester? If you want to break into VC, the difference between those two clubs is the difference between success and failure. Look at the major conferences the school hosts. Are they industry-leading events that attract CEOs and top recruiters from the companies you want to work for? Look at the student treks. Are students organizing trips to Silicon Valley to meet with product managers at Google? Or to Wall Street to network with investment bankers at Goldman Sachs? These are the informal student-run activities where the real networking happens and the real career pathways are built. The formal, on-campus recruiting process is just one piece of the puzzle. The student ecosystem is where the magic happens. You need to know if the magic at that particular school is aligned with your goals. Third, and this is the absolute goldmine of information, the employment report. Every top business school publishes a detailed report every year showing where their graduates went to work and how much they're earning. Most applicants give this a 30-second glance. They look at the average salary, say, wow, that's a lot, and move on. You need to become a forensic accountant with this document. Ignore the average salary. It's a vanity metric. What you need is the breakdown. What percentage of the graduating class went into consulting? What percentage went into tech? What percentage went into investment banking? If 40% of the class goes into consulting and you want to work in renewable energy, that tells you the school's career services, alumni network, and recruiting pipeline are heavily skewed toward an industry you're not interested in. But go even deeper. Look at the list of top hiring companies. If your dream is to work for Amazon, and you see that Amazon hired 50 people from Fuqua but only 5 from Yale SOM last year, that is a hugely important piece of data. It tells you where Amazon prefers to spend its recruiting resources. It tells you which school has a stronger, more active alumni network inside that specific company. This document is a treasure map. It shows you the well-trodden paths from that specific MBA program to specific post-MBA jobs. If the path you want to take isn't on that map, you have to ask yourself if you're willing to bushwhack a new trail all by yourself, or if you'd be better off at a school where that trail is already a superhighway. Doing this level of research on the academics, the student life, and the career outcomes will transform your applications. You'll be able to write essays that are incredibly specific, citing professors by name, referencing unique club activities, and connecting your goals to the school's proven employment pipelines. You'll sound less like a hopeful applicant and more like a future student who has already done their homework. But even this, all of this deep, detailed research is only half the battle. Because reports and websites and statistics can only tell you what has happened. They can't tell you how it feels. They can't tell you about the culture, the vibe, the unwritten rules of a place. To truly understand if a program is the right fit, you have to get inside. You have to talk to the people who are living it day in and day out. And the strategy for how you find them, how you approach them, and what you ask them, that is the master key that unlocks the entire process. So let's talk about how you forge that key. This isn't about just firing off 100 generic LinkedIn messages and hoping for the best. This is about surgical precision. It's about being a detective gathering intelligence that no brochure, no website, and no admissions officer will ever give you. Your mission is to uncover the ground truth. First, where do you find your sources? Your primary tool is, of course, LinkedIn. But don't just type Harvard Business School into the search bar. That's amateur hour. You need to go deeper. Go to the university's official LinkedIn page. Click on the Alumni or People tab. This is your database. Now you can filter by location, by company, by industry. You can find people who are living the exact future you want for yourself. Are you a consultant aiming to pivot into venture capital? Don't just look for any student at Stanford GSB. Look for a second-year student who interned at Andreessen Horowitz last summer, who came from McKinsey just like you. Are you an engineer who wants to launch a startup? Find the co-president of the Entrepreneurship Club at MIT Sloan. These are your high-value targets. Your goal is to build a small, curated list of 5 to 10 people per school. You're looking for a mix: first-year students who are still in the thick of the core curriculum chaos, second-year students who have the wisdom of a full year and an internship under their belt, and recent alumni, maybe 1 to 3 years out, who can give you the unvarnished truth about how well the MBA actually prepared them for the real world. Now for the most critical step, the approach. How you reach out determines everything. A poorly written message is worse than no message at all. It gets you ignored or worse, flagged as spam. The perfect outreach message has 3 components. It's respectful, it's specific, and it's easy. Let's break it down. Respectful means you acknowledge that their time is a precious commodity. They are drowning in case studies, recruiting events, and social obligations. Your opening line should always be some variation of, "I know you're incredibly busy, so I'll be brief." Specific is where you separate yourself from the herd. This is where you prove you're not just copy-pasting a generic template. You must reference something particular from their profile. This shows you've done your homework. It's the difference between saying, "Hi, I'm applying to Booth and would love to chat," and saying, "Hi, I saw on your profile that you were a part of the Chicago Booth Marketing Club and helped organize their annual conference." As someone with a background in brand management, I was incredibly impressed and had a quick question about that experience. See the difference? One is a lazy request. The other is a thoughtful inquiry that makes the person feel seen and valued. It flatters them by showing you've paid attention to their unique journey. Finally, make it easy. Don't ask for an hour of their time. The initial ask should be incredibly low friction. The magic number is 15 minutes. Would you be open to a brief 15-minute chat in the coming weeks? Is the perfect ask. Feels manageable. It's a small enough chunk of time that most people are willing to give it. Even better, offer an alternative that requires even less effort from them. If a call is too difficult, would you mind if I sent over 2 or 3 quick questions via email? This gives them an easy out and an easy way to say yes. So a template might look like this. Subject: prospective applicant quick question. Hi, name. My name is your name, and I'm your job title planning to apply to school name this fall. I know your time as an MBA student is incredibly valuable, so I'll be brief. I came across your profile and was really inspired by your transition from their old industry to their new industry. I'm hoping to make a similar pivot, and your experience with the specific club or class seems directly relevant to my goals. If you have a spare 15 minutes in the next few weeks, I would be incredibly grateful for the chance to hear about your experience. If not, I completely understand. Thanks so much for your time and consideration. Best, your name. It's short, personalized, respectful, and has a clear, easy ask. That message has an 80% chance of getting a positive response. The generic one, maybe 5%. Okay, so you've secured the meeting. The 15-minute chat is on the calendar. Now what? You can't waste this opportunity with generic questions they've answered 100 times before. Do you like the school? Is the culture collaborative? Are the professors good? These questions are useless. They invite brochure-level answers. You are a detective, remember? You need to ask questions that uncover the unwritten story. Here are 5 killer questions that will get you the ground truth. Question 1. What has been the biggest, most unexpected surprise about the program, both positive and negative? This question is brilliant because it bypasses the polished talking points. The positive part lets them gush about something genuinely wonderful, and the negative part gives them permission to be candid about a real challenge or disappointment. Their answer will tell you volumes about what the experience is really like day to day. Question 2. If you could go back in time, what is one thing you would do differently in your first semester? This is a backdoor way of asking about mistakes and regrets. You'll hear about courses they wish they'd taken, clubs they wish they'd joined earlier, or recruiting mistakes they made. This is pure gold. It's a roadmap of pitfalls to avoid. Question 3. Can you tell me about a specific time that a classmate, professor, or the Career Services Office truly went above and beyond for you? Vague claims of a supportive community mean nothing. This question forces a specific story. An anecdote. You're hunting for evidence. Did a professor stay an hour after class to help them with a concept? Did the career office connect them with a hard-to-reach alum? Did a classmate spend all night helping them prep for an interview, even though they were competing for the same job? These stories are the data points that prove the culture. Question 4. Beyond the official on-campus recruiting events, where does the real career networking happen? Every top MBA program has great corporate partners. But the real magic, the real opportunities often happen in the shadows. Is it the weekly student-run industry happy hours? Is it the informal treks to Silicon Valley organized by the tech club? Is it a particularly well-connected professor who makes introductions for his favorite students? This question helps you understand the hidden power structures and informal networks that drive career success at that school. And finally, question 5. What's one common stereotype about your school that is completely true, and one that is completely false? This is a fun, disarming question that gets people to open up. You'll find out if Wharton is really a cutthroat finance factory, or if Kellogg students are actually that friendly and collaborative. It cuts through the marketing fluff and gets to the core identity of the program, as seen from the inside. After a few of these conversations, you'll start to see patterns. You'll build a mosaic of the student experience, full of nuance, color, and detail. And this intelligence doesn't just help you decide if the school is the right fit. It becomes the secret weapon for your application. Because now, in your essays, you're not just saying, I am interested in Columbia Business School because of its location in New York City. You're saying, speaking with second-year student David Chan, he shared a story about how Professor Johnson's value investing class used a live case study with a local hedge fund, an experience that perfectly encapsulates at the very center of business ethos I'm seeking. David's experience confirmed for me that Columbia is the only place I can gain the practical, hands-on financial skills to achieve my goal of transitioning into asset management. You see the power? You're not just telling them you're a good fit. You are showing them. You're demonstrating a level of research and genuine interest that 99% of other applicants simply can't match. You have the inside information. You've spoken their language. You've proven you belong before you've even been admitted. This process, the hunt, the approach, the interrogation, is the single most high-impact thing you can do during your application journey. It transforms you from just another applicant into a well-informed insider. Now you have the intel. You know the ground truth. But all the intelligence in the world is useless if you can't package and present it in a compelling way. And that brings us to the application itself, starting with the single most feared and misunderstood component of the entire process: the essays. For so many brilliant, analytical, and left-brained applicants, this is where the train goes off the rails. It's the part of the application that feels the most subjective, the most fuzzy. After years of focusing on quantifiable achievements, hitting sales targets, optimizing processes, scoring in the 99th percentile, you're suddenly asked to write about your feelings, your dreams, your greatest failure. Feels like a trap, a personality test disguised as a writing assignment. And that fundamental misunderstanding is why most MBA essays are, frankly, boring. They are forgettable. They are safe. And in the hyper-competitive world of elite business school admissions, safe is the most dangerous place to be. Most applicants think the essay is their chance to prove how perfect they are. They write what I call the superhero essay. It's a laundry list of accomplishments, repackaged from their resume into prose. I led this project, then I achieved that metric, then I was promoted ahead of my peers. It's an endless parade of victory, but the admissions committee or AdCom already has your resume. They've seen your GMAT score. They know you're smart and accomplished. The essay isn't a space to repeat that information. Repeating it is a waste of their time and a massive missed opportunity. The purpose of the essay is not to prove you're a flawless machine of achievement. The purpose of the essay is to prove you're human. It's to reveal your character, your motivations, and your potential for growth. The AdCom isn't admitting a resume. They're admitting a person who will sit in their classrooms, contribute to discussions, lead student clubs, and one day, become a brand ambassador for the school as a successful alumnus. They need to know who that person is. And the only way to show them is through storytelling. This is the single biggest mindset shift you need to make. You are not an applicant filling out a form. You are a storyteller, and the essay is your stage. Your story needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. It needs a protagonist, you. It needs a conflict, a challenge you faced. And most importantly, it needs a resolution that demonstrates growth and self-awareness. Let's talk about the most common and powerful essay prompt. What are your post-MBA goals, and why do you need an MBA to achieve them? This isn't a trick question. It is the central pillar of your entire application. Your answer must be a straight line, a logical, compelling narrative that connects your past, your present, and your future. First, the past. This isn't a full autobiography. It's about plucking one or two key inflection points from your professional life that set you on your current path. Don't just say, I worked as a software engineer for 5 years. Tell a story. Maybe you were working on a product that had incredible technology but failed in the market because the business strategy was flawed. That experience, that pain point, made you realize you needed to understand the language of business, not just the language of code. That's a story. It shows motivation born from real-world experience. Next, the future. This is where so many applicants fail because they are too vague. I want to go into consulting. I want to be a leader in the tech industry. That's not a goal, it's a daydream. The AdCom reads that and thinks, this person hasn't done their homework. You need to be surgically specific. What industry? What function? What kind of company? What impact do you want to make? Instead of, I want to go into consulting, try, my goal is to join a top-tier consulting firm like Bain or BCG, specifically within their private equity practice. I want to leverage my pre-MBA experience in manufacturing to help PE firms conduct operational due diligence and create value in their portfolio companies. See the difference? One is a fantasy, the other is a plan. It shows you know what you want, you know why you want it, and you know what it takes to get there. Now, the most critical part, the present, the MBA itself. This is the bridge that connects your past experience to your future ambition. And this is where you must prove why you need this specific MBA. If your essay could be submitted to 10 different schools with only the name changed, you have failed. You need to demonstrate deep, genuine interest in their program. This requires hours of research. Go beyond the homepage of their website. Talk to current students and alumni. Attend virtual information sessions. Read the student newspaper online. And then you weave that research into your narrative. Don't just say, I'm excited about Stanford's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Say, I plan to take Professor Smith's class on venture capital financing, apply to the venture studio to workshop my startup idea for a direct-to-consumer sustainable packaging company, and take a leadership role in the Entrepreneurship Club to organize the annual conference. These specific resources will directly address the gaps in my financial modeling skills and provide the network I need to secure seed funding post-graduation. You are drawing a direct line between a weakness or a gap in your skill set and a specific, unique resource that their school offers. You are showing them that you have a detailed plan for your 2 years on campus. You're not a tourist. You're a future contributor who has already mapped out how you will squeeze every last drop of value from their program. Now let's talk about the dreaded failure essay. Prompts like tell us about a time you failed, or tell us about a time you received difficult feedback, are not designed to make you squirm. They are gifts. They are the single best opportunity you have to show maturity, resilience, and self-awareness. A bad failure essay focuses on the failure itself and then slaps on a generic lesson at the end. My project was late, and I learned that I need to manage my time better. That's weak. A great failure essay spends only about 20% of the word count on the actual failure. The other 80% is dedicated to what you did next. How did you react? How did you take ownership of the mistake? What specific, concrete steps did you take to fix the situation? What system did you put in place to ensure it never happened again? And most importantly, how did that experience fundamentally change your approach to leadership, teamwork, or problem solving? Vulnerability is not weakness. In an MBA essay, it's a superpower. It shows the confidence to admit imperfection and the wisdom to learn from it. The AdCom knows you're not perfect. Trying to pretend you are is a red flag. Showing them you have the humility and drive to grow from your mistakes? That's the mark of a future leader. So, how do you actually do this? You start by brainstorming, not by writing. Spend a week just thinking. List every significant project, every challenge, every success, every failure from your career. For each one, ask yourself the so what question. So what that you increased efficiency by 15%? What did you learn about stakeholder management in the process? So what that your team missed a deadline? How did it change the way you communicate and delegate? Keep digging until you get past the surface level accomplishment and find the human story underneath. Then outline. Structure your narrative arc. What's the inciting incident? What's the climax? What's the resolution and the key takeaway? Only after you have a solid blueprint should you start writing. And your first draft should be terrible. Just get all the ideas out of your head and onto the page. The magic isn't in the writing. It's in the rewriting. Edit ruthlessly. Cut every cliché, every piece of business jargon, every sentence that doesn't move your story forward. Read it aloud to catch awkward phrasing. Finally, get feedback from 1 or 2 people you trust. Don't ask them to check your grammar. Ask them, after reading this, what do you know about me that you didn't know before? Is it compelling? Does it sound like my voice? Your essay is the soul of your application. It's where your GMAT score and your GPA transform from numbers on a page into a living, breathing person with ambition, character, and a unique story to tell. It is your single greatest opportunity to stand out from a sea of equally qualified candidates. But telling your story is only half the battle. You also need to prove that others believe in your story too. Once you've told your story in your own words, you need other people to validate it. And that's where the second most strategic part of your application comes in. Choosing your champions. Your letters of recommendation are not a box to be checked. They are third-party, C-suite level endorsements of your personal brand. They are the evidence you present to the jury, the admissions committee, that the story you've told in your essays isn't just a story. It's a documented track record of impact, vouched for by credible senior professionals who have witnessed it firsthand. Get this right and your application gets a massive tailwind. Get this wrong and it's like trying to fly a kite in a vacuum. So where do most people go wrong? It's almost always the same fatal mistake. They chase titles. They think the most powerful letter comes from the person with the most impressive title. They'll move heaven and earth to get a recommendation from the CEO, a managing partner, or a famous board member. They believe that a letterhead with Chief Executive Officer printed at the top is a golden ticket. It is, in fact, the exact opposite. It is one of the biggest red flags you can possibly raise. Admissions officers or AdComs are masters at reading between the lines. They've read tens of thousands of these letters. And when they see a recommendation from a CEO for a junior-level analyst who in reality has probably only shared an elevator with them twice, they don't think, wow, this applicant is a big shot. They think, this applicant is naive. They don't understand how this process works, and they're trying to impress me with sizzle instead of steak. That generic letter from the C-suite is a death knell. It will be filled with vague platitudes. Sarah is a hard worker. She's a valuable member of the team. She has a bright future and I recommend her without reservation. It's corporate speak for, I don't actually know this person, but human resources told me she's a good employee. It contains no specific anecdotes, no concrete examples of your leadership, your analytical prowess, or your resilience in the face of failure. It has no soul. And an application without soul is an application that ends up in the no pile. This brings us to the single most important rule for selecting your recommenders. Choose the people who know you best, not the people who are the most senior. I want you to repeat that. Choose who knows you best. The power of a recommendation comes from its specificity and its enthusiasm. Your recommender's job is to bring your resume and essays to life with vivid, detailed stories that only they could tell. They need to be able to talk about that time you salvaged a failing project, or the time you mentored a junior colleague, or the way you persuaded a skeptical client. They need to provide the color commentary to the black and white statistics on your resume. A glowing, detailed, story-filled letter from your direct manager is 1,000 times more powerful than a generic 2-paragraph letter from the company president. So, who should you be choosing? For virtually every top MBA program, you'll need 2 letters. The first one is almost always a given, your current direct supervisor. They are the person who sees you day in and day out. They manage your performance, they see you interact with the team, they know your strengths and, crucially, your areas for development. A missing letter from your current boss is a question mark that you will have to explain. Now I can hear the panic already. But I can't tell my boss I'm applying to business school. I might lose my bonus or get sidelined from good projects, or even lose my job. This is a legitimate and very common fear. And schools understand this. If you are in this situation, you have a couple of options. The best alternative is to use your most recent former direct supervisor, someone who managed you for a significant period of time and can speak to your performance in detail. If that's not an option, you can use a different senior colleague who has acted in a supervisory capacity, perhaps the lead on a major long-term project. In either case, you must use the optional essay in the application to briefly and professionally explain why your current supervisor is not writing on your behalf. Just state the facts. To protect my current standing and future opportunities at my firm, I have respectfully chosen not to ask my current supervisor for a recommendation at this time. That's it. They get it. Now for your second recommender. This is where you get to be truly strategic. Do not just pick another version of your first recommender. The goal of the second letter is to showcase a different side of you. It needs to add a new complementary dimension to your candidacy. Think about the core themes of your application story. If your first recommender, your manager, is going to talk about your analytical skills and project management, who can talk about your creative problem solving or your ability to lead a team of volunteers? Great options for a second recommender include a manager from a previous job or a different department, a senior mentor who has overseen your work on a critical initiative, or even a client, if you've worked with them in a deep, consultative partnership over a long period. One of the most powerful options is a leader from a significant extracurricular activity. If you've been the treasurer for a large nonprofit or organized a major fundraising event, a letter from the board chair or the executive director can be incredibly compelling. It shows a side of your leadership and commitment that exists outside the confines of your 9-to-5 job. Who not to ask is just as important. No family members ever. No peers or people who report to you. And generally, avoid academic professors unless you are applying straight from undergrad or have a very compelling reason, like you did groundbreaking research with them that directly relates to your career goals. The MBA is a professional degree, and AdComs want to see professional endorsements. Once you've chosen your champions, your job is only halfway done. Now you have to manage them. This is your first real test of upward management, a critical MBA skill. You must make it as easy as possible for them to write a stellar, detailed, and impactful letter. You do this by creating what I call a recommender packet. First, the ask. Do not just fire off an email. Schedule a call or an in-person meeting. Express your gratitude for their mentorship and support. Then ask them directly. Would you be willing and able to write a strong and enthusiastic letter of recommendation for my business school applications? Using the words strong and enthusiastic is key. It gives them a polite way to decline if they don't feel they can endorse you at that level. A lukewarm letter is a killer, so you want to give them an out. Once they agree, tell them you'll be sending over a comprehensive packet to make the process seamless for them. This packet is your secret weapon. It should include your final resume, the final versions of your application essays, a clear list of the schools and their deadlines, and most importantly, a reminder document. This reminder document is where you win. Your recommenders are busy. They might not remember the specific details of a project you worked on 2 years ago. Your job is to remind them. For each key competency you want them to highlight: leadership, teamwork, analytical ability, creativity. Provide them with 3 or 4 concrete, bullet-pointed examples of times you demonstrated that skill while working with them. Frame these examples using the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. For example, for teamwork, you might consider mentioning the Project Titan crisis. Situation: our data feed went down the night before the client presentation. Task: we needed to rebuild the entire deck in 8 hours. Action: I took the lead on rerunning the financial models while delegating the slide design to Jane and the market research to Mike, keeping the team motivated and coordinated. Result: we finished the deck at 3 a.m., and the client loved the presentation, signing a follow-on contract worth $200,000. You are literally handing them the powerful stories they need to include in your letter. You're not writing it for them. That's a huge ethical line you must never cross. But you are equipping them with the raw material. You are making their job easy. You can even gently suggest which themes might resonate with which schools. Since Wharton really emphasizes data-driven leadership, my work on the Project Titan Analytics might be a great example to use for their letter. Think about the difference. Recommender A gets a vague email. Hey, can you write me a rec letter? It's due Friday. Recommender B gets a professional, organized packet with everything they need, including a curated list of powerful stories that make you look like a superstar. Who do you think is going to write the better letter? This process, choosing the right people and equipping them for success, isn't just about getting a good letter. It is a reflection of your own character. It shows that you are strategic, that you can manage senior relationships, and that you are organized and considerate. In a way, how you manage your recommenders is the first piece of evidence the AdCom has of your true leadership potential. You're not just asking for a favor. You are marshaling your resources, building a coalition of support, and executing a strategic plan. You're already acting like the MBA you hope to become. And the single most important question that MBA will have to answer over and over again is this: what is the plan? What is the strategy? This brings us to the fourth thing you absolutely must know before you apply. Your post-MBA career goal is not a wish. It is a meticulously researched, battle-tested business plan for your own life. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest area where promising applications fall apart. The admissions committee reads essay after essay from brilliant people with 750 GMATs and stellar work experience who say something like, "My goal is to pivot into consulting," or "I want to work in venture capital." And the AdCom member sighs, puts the folder down, and moves on to the next one. Why? Because those aren't goals. They are destinations. They are the equivalent of a startup saying their business plan is to be a unicorn. It's an outcome, not a strategy. It reveals a stunning lack of depth and self-awareness. Your application is a pitch. You are the founder, and your future self is the company you're trying to get funded. The admissions committee is the venture capital firm, and their investment isn't money. It's one of a few hundred precious seats in their incoming class. They need to see a return on that investment, which is measured by your future success. A vague, unresearched goal is the #1 sign of a bad investment. So let's break down what a true MBA-level career plan looks like. It has 3 core components: the why, the how, and the what if. First, the why. Your long-term vision and short-term goals must be an authentic and logical extension of your past. You cannot simply wake up one day as an accountant and decide you want to be a product manager at Google because it sounds cool. You need a narrative thread that connects your past experiences, your desire for an MBA, and your future ambitions. Think of it as a story in 3 acts. Act 1 is your life so far. What problems have you encountered? What skills have you built? What passions have you discovered? Act 2 is the MBA program itself, the transformational bridge. Act 3 is your post-MBA career, where you use the skills from Act 1, amplified by the knowledge from Act 2 to go out and achieve something specific. For example, a week goal is, I have been a software engineer for 5 years. I want an MBA to gain business skills and become a product manager in the tech industry. It's generic. It's boring. Tens of thousands of people have that exact same story. A strong goal sounds like this. As a software engineer on a healthcare platform, I was repeatedly frustrated by the disconnect between our brilliant engineering team and the real-world needs of clinicians. We built powerful features that went unused because we didn't understand the business of healthcare. My short-term goal is to transition into a product management role specifically at the intersection of health and technology, at a company like Verily or Flatiron Health. In the long term, I aim to lead a product division that leverages data to solve critical patient care pipeline issues I witnessed firsthand. See the difference? The first is a job description. The second is a mission. It's personal, specific, and credible. It tells the AdCom, this person isn't just chasing a trend. They've identified a real-world problem and have a personal stake in solving it. Your why is your origin story. It's what makes your plan believable. Second, the how. This is where you prove you've done your homework. The how is your answer to the most important question. Why this specific MBA program? And your answer cannot be a list of rankings or generic compliments about the school's brand. That's like telling someone you want to marry them because they're attractive. It's shallow and unconvincing. The how requires you to connect your specific career plan to the unique, specific resources of that school. And I mean specific. You don't just say, I'm excited about Wharton's strong finance curriculum. You say, I plan to take Professor Itai Goldstein's course on corporate finance, FNC 6110, because my goal of working in private equity requires a deep understanding of valuation models, and his research on financial crises provides a unique perspective on risk assessment. Furthermore, I intend to take a leadership role in the Private Equity and Venture Capital Club, specifically by helping to organize the annual PE and VC conference to build connections with firms like KKR and Blackstone, which heavily recruit from Wharton. You need to name professors. You need to name courses by their actual course codes. You need to name student-run clubs, research centers, and experiential learning programs like the Michigan Ross MAP program or the Yale SOM Global Network for Advanced Management. This level of detail does 2 things. First, it proves your commitment. It shows you've spent hours, not minutes, digging through their website and talking to their students. Second, it gives the admissions committee a crystal clear picture of exactly how you will use their resources. You're not just a passive student. You're a strategic consumer of their educational product. You're showing them you've already mapped out your 2 years on campus. You have a plan. And finally, the third component, and this is the one that separates the good applicants from the great ones, the what if. This is your contingency plan. Let's be real. Admissions committees are professional risk managers. They know that landing a job at a top-tier consulting firm or a mega-fund private equity shop is brutally competitive. They know that sometimes, even for the most brilliant students, plan A doesn't work out. They are terrified of having graduates who are unemployed 6 months after graduation because it tanks their rankings and their reputation. So they are actively looking for candidates who demonstrate maturity, flexibility, and strategic thinking. A great applicant signals this by having a credible plan B. You don't necessarily write a whole essay about it, but you should be able to articulate it in an interview. If your plan A is to work in strategy consulting at McKinsey, Bain, or BCG, a strong plan B might be to pursue an internal strategy role at a Fortune 500 company like Disney or Nike, or to join a boutique consulting firm that specializes in your pre-MBA industry. This shows the AdCom that you're not a naive dreamer. You understand the market, you have a realistic view of the challenges, and you have a backup strategy that still leverages your skills and moves you toward your long-term vision. It proves that you are a low-risk investment. You are coachable, adaptable, and resilient, the exact qualities they want in their alumni. So, your career goal is not a single sentence in an essay. It is the central operating system for your entire application. It dictates the stories you tell in your essays, the skills you highlight on your resume, the anecdotes you prepare for your interview, and even the way you guide your recommenders. When it's done right, it's a powerful, compelling business plan that makes your admission feel not just like a good idea, but an absolute inevitability. You've built your case, you've crafted your story, you've presented a bulletproof plan. But there's one final gatekeeper you have to get past, one final test that has almost nothing to do with your GMAT score or your work experience. And it's the one that trips up more high achievers than anything else. It's the interview. But it's so much more than just the interview. The fifth and final thing you absolutely must understand is what admission committees call fit. And it is, without a doubt, the single most important and most misunderstood part of the entire application process. Fit is the invisible curriculum vitae. It's the unwritten requirement. It's the gut feeling an admissions officer gets after reading your essays and speaking to you for 30 minutes. It's their answer to the question, do I want this person to be a part of our community for the next 2 years and an ambassador for our brand for the next 40? You can have a 790 GMAT, a 4.0 from a HYPS undergrad, and a resume that reads like a highlight reel from McKinsey and still get rejected. Why? Because you failed the fit test. High achievers stumble here because their entire lives have been a ladder of objective metrics. Higher score, better grade, bigger promotion. You win by being quantifiably better. But fit is not quantifiable. It's qualitative. It's about emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and genuine connection. It's about proving you're not just a collection of impressive stats, but a person people will want to work with on a late-night group project, a person who will add something unique and valuable to a classroom discussion, a person who understands that an MBA is not a transaction but a transformation. Let me tell you a story about 2 candidates I know who applied to the same M7 school. Let's call them Alex and Ben. On paper, Alex was a demigod. GMAT in the 99th percentile. Prestigious investment bank. Glowing recommendations that used words like prodigy. Alex's application was technically perfect. The essays were well written, hitting all the keywords about leadership and impact. But when you read them, they felt hollow. They felt like they could have been written by any ambitious banker. In the interview, Alex was polished, almost too polished. He had canned answers for everything. When he talked about the school, he used phrases like leveraging the brand and accessing the alumni network. He was treating the MBA like an acquisition. Then there was Ben. Ben's stats were good, but not stellar. GMAT was a 720. He went to a large state school and worked for a mid-sized tech company you've probably never heard of. But his story was electric. He wasn't trying to save the world. He was trying to solve a very specific problem he'd encountered in the supply chain logistics of his industry. His essays didn't just say, I want to be a leader. They told a gripping story of a time he led a team through a crisis, showing his vulnerability, his mistakes, and what he learned. He didn't just say he wanted to go to this school. He explained exactly how Professor Miller's niche research on sustainable supply chains, combined with the hands-on experience offered by the school's Global Operations Challenge, were the only 2 things in the world that could give him the specific toolkit he needed to achieve his very specific goal. In his interview, Ben didn't have canned answers. He had a conversation. He asked the interviewer thoughtful questions about their own experience at the school. He was curious. He was authentic. He was passionate. He wasn't just trying to get into an MBA program. He was on a mission, and he had convincingly argued why this specific school was the essential next step on his journey. Guess who got in? Ben got the acceptance call within a week. Alex was waitlisted and eventually rejected. Alex failed because he showed them he was a great candidate for an MBA. Ben succeeded because he showed them he was the perfect candidate for their MBA. That is the power of fit. So how do you demonstrate it? How do you crack this code? comes down to three things. First, research that goes miles deep, not a mile wide. Anyone can go on US News and parrot back the top 5 rankings. The admissions committee has heard it 1,000 times. You need to go deeper. You need to become an expert on their specific culture. Spend hours on their website, not on the homepage but in the dark corners. Read the student blogs. Watch the YouTube videos posted by the student clubs. Find out what they value. Is it a hyper-competitive, sharp elbows environment, or is it a deeply collaborative, team-based culture? Be honest with yourself about where you'll thrive. Then, in your application, you need to connect your personal values to their specific cultural DNA. Don't just say, "I want to join the tech club." Say, "I was incredibly inspired by the tech club's annual conference last year. Specifically the panel on AI ethics led by Jane Doe, MBA class of 2023. Given my background in software development, I'm hoping to contribute by leading a new initiative focused on responsible AI, building on the incredible foundation Jane has already established." See the difference? One is generic interest. The other is proof of deep, meaningful engagement. Second, you must have a bulletproof answer to the unspoken question behind every application. Why us? And why now? This is the single most important part of your story. You need to articulate this with razor-sharp clarity. Think of it as a triangle. One point is your past. Here are the skills and experiences I have. The second point is your future. Here is my specific, ambitious, and achievable post-MBA goal. The third and most important point is the bridge. And here is why your specific program, your professors, your clubs, your teaching method, your location, is the only bridge in the world that can connect my past to my future. If you can't articulate that bridge with incredible specificity, they will assume you're just shotgunning applications to every top school, and they'll toss your file. You need to make them feel like they are your one and only choice, even if they aren't. It's like a marriage proposal. You have to convince them you were made for each other. And third, master the interview as a conversation, not an interrogation. Yes, you need to prepare for the classic questions. Walk me through your resume. Tell me about a time you failed. What are your strengths and weaknesses? But your goal is not to just deliver a perfect answer. Your goal is to build a human connection. The person interviewing you is often a second-year student or an alumnus. They are the gatekeepers of the school's culture. They are trying to figure out if you're the kind of person they'd want to grab a beer with, to have in their study group, to call a fellow alum. So listen as much as you talk. Ask them meaningful questions about their experience. Be curious. Be warm. Be yourself. Your resume and GMAT score got you the interview. Your personality is what gets you the offer. They already know you're smart. The interview is your chance to prove you're also someone they'll like. So let's bring it all home. We've talked about taming the GMAT beast, not as a measure of your worth but as a key to a door. We've talked about crafting a compelling narrative, the story only you can tell. We've covered the art of securing powerful recommendations from people who truly know you. We've strategized on how to choose the right schools, not based on rank, but on your personal and professional goals. And finally, we've uncovered the secret sauce: demonstrating fit. Putting together a successful MBA application is one of the most introspective and demanding things you will ever do. It forces you to look back at your life, connect the dots, and then project a bold vision for your future. It's not about checking boxes. It's not about having a perfect record. It's about presenting a cohesive, authentic, and compelling story. A story where you are the hero, on a journey to make an impact. And their business school is the wise mentor you need to unlock your full potential. The process is a marathon. It will test your resolve. But don't get so lost in the metrics and the rankings that you forget the most fundamental truth. They are not admitting a resume. They are not admitting a GMAT score. They are admitting a person. Your person. So when you finally hit submit, make sure the person they see on that page is the real you. Because that's the person they're hoping to meet.